So that kind of wraps into the previous question, right? Like, nutrition is everything. Without the nutrition, you won't fuel your workouts. You won't have the right sleep. You won't have that fat loss or that muscle development. So there's really no progress without that's the most common thing that you see people doing too. It's like, hey, I'm working 5 days a week and I've been training this way and I'm not seeing results. It's the nutrition. It's not just eating healthy, but it's like, what are you eating,
Let's go.
I'm here today with Vanessa, also known as Fitnessa. Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
We're so happy to have you too.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here to talk a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? What are your goals? A little bit of your background. So let me begin with, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? What platforms do you use? And was this always your dream?
Okay, let's start with the first one. So what do? I am an one-stop shop fitness and nutrition coach that also has a background in martial arts. Now, I'll break that down for you. But initially, I was a personal trainer in Los Angeles. And now, fast forward, now I've been in Miami 4 years, and I focus mainly on online fitness programs. So I have a platform, my own app through my coaching is through an app, and I also do events. And that's how I came to Atlantis University. But I focus on women coaching, heavily into nutrition, fitness in general, transformations. But I have helped many, many men as well. And then that's where the self-defense comes in, because it's really for everyone. It's not just for women. So that's what I do. That's what I'm passionate about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what's the next question? I'm sorry. It's what motivates you to do that. Like,
yes.
You talked about like passion.
Yes, exactly. And let me finish the first question, which you said, did I always dream about doing this? It's funny because I did want to be in fitness. I didn't know how, but I had a vision. I was overweight before. So if you go to my Instagram, you can see my like a clip highlight of my story. But I used to be overweight, lost a lot of weight, completely transformed my life. And that's why I consider myself a good coach. People can relate. But I was always into working out, but I did all the things wrong. And I just had this vision of having what I think is exactly that picture. No, that's not me. That's a client. My main profile picture in the red, that was my vision way back when I was overweight. And years later, there it is. How I got here, it's a lot of trial and error. But yeah, to answer your question in a very long way, yes, I dream about being in fitness, but I didn't know when, I didn't know how, I didn't know it was going to be to this extent, at this caliber.
No, but that's really cool. That's really cool.
I know, I made that really long. And what motivates me? Transformations. When clients tell you, and I'm quoting them, you have changed my life, you have saved my life. And I confidently say that now because I've been told many times. Because this is so much more than fat loss. This is so much more than, mindset and lifestyle changes. This is all of it. And I take pride in that. So I don't always feel like showing up, but those stories, those transformations, and my clients, that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me showing up,
Of course, that's the connection that you are forming with that people.
Yes, that's what it is. Because I know if I don't show up, I'm letting them down as well. Because, in this, you're a coach, you have to still look the part, but also feel the part. Like, when people ask me, or let's go out, let's eat this, let's do that, you can get away with it. You're a coach, you can work it off. I'm like, yeah, but my brain is what I'm protecting.
That's what I was thinking. It's a lot more than nutrition.
Yes, exactly.
People, helping them grow.
It's your thoughts. And now tomorrow I have to coach and program and do check-ins and things like that. And if coach is hungover or coach is feeling sluggish because she didn't work out and didn't, ate the wrong foods. Like now my clients, my community is going to be sacrificed. And that's my motivation.
Yeah, no, and that's really nice. That's really good and nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned that you work with women and men, but like who do you want to influence and like what's the main population that you work like?
Women, 100%.
Okay.
I've helped a lot of men especially when I was doing in-person training. Mm-hmm. Not to discredit guys, but it's just easier because, guys just do the work and, they don't have hormone shifts throughout the month and things like that. I'm a big advocate about intermittent fasting, and that's something I'm known for as well. I teach my community how to do it properly, intentionally, especially women. So meaning guys, I can give them a fasting schedule that can apply all month, and they just do the work, and then they lose the weight and gain the muscle, right? And women, we shift. I know it for myself, right? And then the age is everything, genetics, and then lifestyle, so many factors. So, but to answer your question, I've helped both. Guys are easier. I'm more passionate about women, and I relate more to women. They relate more to me. They could see my transformation, and they're like, okay, well, that's my story, to some degree. So she can help me. And also just the fact that I can guide them through the times of the month, the shifts, like that's a powerful tool that, not many know about. So why wouldn't I really utilize that to their potential, to my potential?
No, I feel that you can really understand better. Of course, working with men, it's good and it's maybe a different way, but you as you're a woman, it's like easier to connect with women.
Exactly, connect with women. So that's what I'm passionate about. But I have to say, there's many male clients I have as nutrition clients, because they can have their own programs. Like they go to the gym, they're like, I'm good at this, but I'm not very good at nutrition. And they trust me with that. That's what I'm known for more than anything. So I have more nutrition clients than men, and then I have like females that have everything with me.
Okay, that's cool. And how do you like design these training programs to improve like these people, like to meet these people's objectives, or how do you work with that? How do you design these programs?
Yeah, well, it all starts with the intake form. That's your assessment form. And this is a set of questions that are going to let me know how we're going to program everything, right? Like what's realistic? And that's a key word for me. It's not what I want you to do, is what you can maintain on your own. Are you a mom? Are you a full-time student? Are you a career woman? What is achievable for you, for your everything, your food, your steps, your hydration, your sleep, and then we take it from there. So in this intake form, it's like everything, limitations, injuries, what's your goal? So all these things are applied, and one thing I'm really proud of is starting people where they are, meeting people where they are, and that's our baseline. Meaning like, you really don't drink a lot of water because A, B, or C, well, that's where we're going to start, and we're just going to gradually up your water, up your steps, up your workouts. Like, I'm not going to say, I want you to drink a gallon of water, 10,000 steps, and 8 workouts a week. And then what? They're going to get injured and then fail, most likely, right? So everybody loves that gradual process, and that's what I'm known for.
Yeah, so we can say that it's really personalized. Like,
it's personal 100%, and that's what the intake form is for. And then a conversation, the initial conversation that we have on the first call, and then then I have check-ins, and these are weekly or bi-weekly, and that's when we just really manage and look at the progress, like what's going on, what are your challenges, and then make adjustments based on that.
And you mentioned something like maybe if you don't like be a realistic with the like the whole program that you are like personalizing and customizing for them, like what are the biggest mistakes that people can like make in their training routines whenever you
on their own, you mean?
Yeah, on their own, because you, of course, you said that is something like you personalized and definitely that you talked about, and you like make this program really customized and personalized. But what are some of the
biggest mistakes
that they can make?
People are making mistakes, sadly, in both the fitness programming or the workouts, and then the nutrition, right? And the fitness is, I used to do this, where you think, I want to lose weight. It's a New Year's. We're going to do a bunch of cardio. right? We're just going to go crazy because we know we got 20 pounds to lose. And then we're going to be on a diet and we're going to lower our calories. But okay, the workouts alone. So biggest mistakes are too much cardio, too little recovery, right?
Okay.
So that's a recipe for disaster because you are doing the cardio, which is really burning through muscle. And then having you fatigued all the time. And then you're not recovering. You're not resting because you go from one workout to no workouts a week to 5 workouts a week of all intense. And what happens is now there comes the nutrition part. You're under eating calories and probably not the right calories. So you're burning through muscle. What does that mean? That means your metabolism is actually getting worse and you're losing that muscle. And it's like a catch-22 because now you're not going to get into fat burning mode or shape your body if you're burning through muscle. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
So more cardio, less calories, less muscle equals a disaster.
To wrap up.
Yeah, to just summarize that long answer.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was just about to ask you something. How important is nutrition in clients and overall performance and recovery? Because you mentioned something like that.
So that kind of wraps into the previous question, right? Like nutrition is everything. Without the nutrition, you won't fuel your workouts. You won't have the right sleep. You won't have that fat loss or that muscle development. So there's really no progress without that's the most common thing that you see people doing too. It's like, hey, I'm working 5 days a week and I've been training this way and I'm not seeing results. It's the nutrition. It's not just eating healthy, but it's like, what are you eating? You know, the foods in this country are something to be really careful with. You know, it's no secret anymore. So that's why people come to me, and I have another page that I just started, Fitnessa approved, and I have my broadcast channel as well, because in these I try to dive deeper into that nutrition side of things and like what's going on with the labels, you know, all of that. So nutrition, everything.
Okay, and that takes us to the next question, that is what are the key components of a well-balanced diet for your clients?
Always protein. That's our baseline. That's our foundation. You know, I can't say it enough. I probably say protein in every post. And then it's going to be followed by micronutrients, which are going to be your fruits and vegetables and minerals and all of that. And fiber and good fats. So you need the good fats. And this is something that I'm really trying to teach people, especially women, to not be afraid of, because we, you know, a couple decades ago, we were taught fat is bad for us. So everything low fat. No, that's been debunked. We know it's the opposite, but it's good fat, right? So good fats is followed by that protein and then the fibers, foods, because without those, you're going to run into trouble with the high protein. If you come from a diet that does not have high protein and you start adding it, again, digestive issues. So carbs, yes, good natured carbs always, but those are more, you know, nice to haves. And depending, if you're an athlete, if you are, you know, depending on your goals, of course, but I don't care too much if you don't meet your carb goals, for example, but you're going to have to meet your protein goals to some degree.
Yes, so to balance
so that's when you say the importance, that's the kind of the pyramid of how that goes.
No, that's cool. This is a really I'm really interested in this topic, so I'm really learning in this.
She's gonna learn. She's getting a one-on-one lesson from me.
Definitely. Okay, so to shift a little bit the topic, let's talk about self-defense, because that is something that you also focus on, right?
That's my passion.
Oh, I love that.
What
okay.
So the backstory is that I used to compete and Muay Thai and boxing back in LA, where I'm from, and I've been in the ring and everything. You know, I'm the real deal. Not nothing against LA fitness coaches or anything like that, but I'm not your typical just kickboxing coach. I was a fighter, so I love that because of the discipline and the art part about it. I never really liked the aggressiveness. I was a respectful fighter, and that's why I love Muay Thai. But so where did self-defense come in? Well, again, you learn the body, you learn the mind in these sports. And coming to Miami, it was during COVID, and I was like, hey, let's focus on something that not everyone's doing, especially women. So then I started just niching down on that for a little bit before I could focus again on strength and nutrition. I started focusing on and my TikTok is like all self-defense before, which is really cool. And that's kind of where it comes in. I believe that everybody, not just women, need to know basic self-defense.
Definitely.
Okay, like and I'm sure you're going to ask me further questions on self-defense, but just knowing the basics means not just physical abilities, but confidence. And that'll take you away from problems.
That's what I was going to ask you. So, yeah, definitely. Like, what are the key physical and mental skills that self-defense training builds on you?
Okay, so physically, you're going to have that reaction, right? You're going to always encounter some kind of dangerous situation to some degree, but you'll be able to navigate around it, ideally prevent it. But if you have to be in it, you'll know what to do, at least to some degree. At least it's like react and run or something, right? Instead of panic, which a lot of people do, especially women. And the mental, again, it gives you a sense of confidence to be able to, decide what you're going to do in that moment. And if it is going to be a physical act, it will help you with which one to do and just react, right? So they come hand in hand with physical and mental. But if you've never practiced it, your mental is not really going to be there. You're going to be like, this is a foreign thing for me, you know? So I think it's super important that everyone at least has some knowledge in either striking, like basic punching, or did some kind of martial arts. Even as a kid, it'll help you. Or just watch some self-defense videos. I think that's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Or come to one of our events that we may have here.
This is a great space for that. Okay, and how do you deal with people that are just starting? Like just starting on, they don't know nothing about self-defense. How do you arrange these programs for that people?
Obviously this is all in person because I don't have anything that is going to teach people virtually aside from the videos that I have on both TikTok and YouTube. But I actually love when I have someone that's never experienced self-defense, because they're fascinated and they're just like, they're a sponge, they're absorbing everything. But we start with the basics, very basic, very practical and functional. What can I teach you? What can you learn that you can take into the real world? And we're going to apply it with a real life scenario. Like here at the school, we did a self-defense class, Gabriel and myself, and we finished, for example, with the cell phone attack defense, right? Which you never think like a cell phone, that's a great weapon. And
I didn't know that. I learned that in the class.
You learned that in the class. So the next event, I wanted to be more focused on women, so women feel, more comfortable. But this is the kind of thing that can really help women, both men and women. But, you get attacked. We're always on our phone. And you might be a bigger target when on your phones, especially late at night. You're distracted. And most people have a phone on them. So, we taught them, how to slide it down, and then that's you react. Of course, there's a step process, but then you can target the neck, the head, the nose, and then you push and knee and run. Ideally, we're also realistic. I'm not going to teach a small girl to fight a bigger man, or just a man in general. If you don't have any knowledge, they can have a knife, they can have other things. So I'm not going to say, hey guys, this trick is going to save your life. Well, no, it could save your life, but you still need to act and then possibly ask for help and run. But that's how I would start. Basics.
I love that, and I love what you said about being realistic, because of course.
Yes, because I can teach you really cool, spinning elbow moves and all these things that you're probably not going to use, or you're going to forget. And then the best thing to do is, after you learn it with me, you're going to practice it, right? Apply it right away. And if it's not in the class, you're going to go home and apply it, and then maybe videotape yourself. And that goes for anything you learn. And that is something that's helped me and my clients. I tell them, video yourself, because that's how we're going to learn, and then watch it again and watch your mistakes.
That takes us to the next question.
Oof.
Yeah, no,
I love it. I'm flowing.
I love that. Okay, so how do you ensure that your clients retain what you taught to them?
Yes, and we're talking self-defense still, because
yeah.
clients, participants in an event, but I understand what you mean. So exactly that. When you connect it to a real life situation is really the best way. You know, we always play out the scenarios. You're in the street, someone reaches for you, or, you know, this is what you're going to do. You're going to apply it this way, and you're going to chop the neck. So it's like application to the real life situation, followed by practice, and then make the mistakes. Now I'm going to ask you, what mistake did you make? And again, like video yourself and all of those things. Go home and practice it with your sister, with your husband, whatever it is. And you're going to learn it. If you want to, you're going to learn it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. If you want to, yeah, you will learn it.
Of course. And I feel that this is something that you also like learn about yourself, right?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
I was thinking like to do it, and I was thinking like, oh, I would learn definitely like what about myself, like about my strong
abilities.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You learn your strength. But that's the beauty of martial arts, that two people can have a chance. Like one can be smaller, one can be bigger. Depends on the art, of course. You know, you have grappling, you have all these other defense, but like in a real life situation, if you have some kind of tactics and techniques, you can really escape from dangerous situations. You know, you just have to have those basic things. If you are unaware of what to do and you're just like, I don't know, do this, pull the hair, you're going to be in trouble. But like if you know like just simple things, you know, pokes and, you know, use your elbows in the right way, like it will really
help you.
Really,
like, yeah,
definitely. So that's what I want for people, especially women, just to be able to have that confidence, but also some of the skill sets for this.
Okay. And what's the most challenging aspect of training people in self-defense?
Their self-belief.
Okay.
They're initially very intimidated by this, especially if they didn't do any physical sports, you know, any at all, or any sports at all. You know, a lot of people are introverted. And in training self-defense, you're working with other people. A lot of the times we pair you up, and this is already a challenge for people, you know. But the beauty in this is if you do it, it's going to help you. It's going to help you develop, you know, new ways of seeing life and new comforts. So I'd say the biggest difficulty is getting people to tap into that aggression, which again, a real martial artist will tell you it's all about peace. It's avoiding aggression. It's avoiding fighting. But when in training, you need to pull out that beast mode.
Of course.
You know, and that's something that really I didn't understand at first, because I've always been a peaceful person. So when I started fighting, it was like, Vanessa, you need to be more aggressive. But I'm like, I'm not aggressive. So then I learned how to really tap into that and tap out of that. Like, I've never been in a fight in the street. I've never, you know, of course now, like from my skill levels, I avoid them if I can. But I've never been in a fight, because just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of person I am, I'm just chill. I don't yell. I'm not crazy. Like, I don't have those moments, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing, like trying to have people believe and like really train it and practice it the real way, the way that it's supposed to be, with intention.
And what would you say to the people that are watching this? Like, if they want to start, how would you motivate them to start?
With the self-defense, or just their journey in general?
Because no. Yes, for
always start your journey. Like, don't wait. Start yesterday. But if they want to try like a self-defense class, you mean? Like,
I mean,
are we focusing specifically to that? I say maybe try your local, you know, kickboxing class, even YouTube videos. There's a lot. I have a YouTube video on how to throw a proper jab cross. So it's like start with that, because at home you're more comfortable, and then learn the basics, the terminology, the names of things, and then you can go and take a class. It can be a self-defense class, you know, in your community, or it can be again like a kickboxing class, something like that, and then take it from there. See if you like it, but at least you'll know the basics.
Okay, and wrapping up, like, of course, we're at AU, and I would like to ask you, like, from all your journey that I loved, what would you recommend to our, like, students that want to start their own businesses? What would you recommend them to start?
Enjoy the challenges. No, so, there's definitely been many struggles for myself, and being passionate about what I do. I know you hear people say this, but this is what has you overcoming all those challenges and what keeps you going. Because if I wasn't passionate about fitness, oh my God, would I have given up a long time ago? So I'm super passionate about it. But also what's helped me develop and get where I am is really the self-development, the growth, being addicted to learning. And there is no limitation to this. If you are not learning on the daily almost, that's on you, because now we have access to all forms of information and knowledge, right? It could be audiobooks, but okay, let's say you don't want to invest. YouTube, it can be podcasts, it can be all, it's
we have a lot of,
there's no ceiling for this. So I went through actually a phase 2 years ago when I started my online business of just continuous knowledge. I was listening to like 9 hours of both books and podcasts a day on different topics, because I had to wear all the hats: marketing, and then I went nutrition, intermittent fasting, sales, social media. So like, you are being an entrepreneur in this space, especially, you're wearing so many hats, right? So many different job titles. So my obsession in knowledge during that time was priceless. So that's what I have for them. Like, don't be lazy. Open up a book or listen to a book while you're cooking, while you're walking, anywhere you are, and then that builds up.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved it, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed this interview. I really enjoyed getting to knowing more about you, and thanks for coming to AU.
Yes, I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Bye.